Welcome to this Animatricks 2021 interview with two wonderful directors from Ireland and from Croatia, Cliona Noonan and Kata Gugic. So welcome, welcome. So wonderful you could make it to our festival. And and you have two wonderful films in the festival. So, you can start with a short introduction, and then maybe briefly talk about your film. So, should we start with Cliona? You can go first.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Cliona. I'm an Irish animator, director, filmmaker, and I made When Soppy, which I'd say I finished it probably a year ago now before everything went down with the pandemic. Um, and yeah, I made it thanks to Animation Skillnet, who set up a kind of um, filmmaking studio for up and coming directors. So I had a team, and we only had about like 8 weeks to make the film of production, and we got it made. Yeah, so that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you made it in this. Is it called IADT in Dublin? Is that the school?
So I studied in IADT, and I made it a few months after graduating. So it was with Animation Skillnet, are kind of like a training. They organize a lot of training for recent graduates and that sort of thing. So there was an open call for anyone who wanted to work on the film. So I was working with that, like some people I knew, some people were new, were people I never met before. And then they had industry professionals as mentors to kind of like just support what I wanted to make, it was amazing. And we had a studio space as well.
Yeah, that sounds great. Because in Ireland, I've been to Ballyfermont College, and I remember when we went there, they had this really good seminar with this professor Bruce Block, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, and it was brilliant. And I noticed that they have this really good, and they had this like pretty much every year. Because at the time I was studying in Scotland, and then they
Mm-hmm.
took us there. I think they took about 10 students from the whole university to this seminar in Dublin, and it was, I think, hosted by Ballyfermont. And it was in one big auditorium. And it was brilliant. It was like two or three day seminar it was, and it was just like so many amazing things about filmmaking and those things you would learn. It was like really good and kind of like condensed course. So I noticed that in Dublin they have a lot of these good events.
Yeah, because Ballyfermot would have been the first animation college, I guess, in Ireland. And then IDT came soon after. But now there's about five or six. There used to be only like IDT or Ballyfermot for a while, for a long time. But yeah, a lot more now.
Yeah. And so I have to say about your film is I really liked it. I mean, so I started watching it, and then I think I really like the kind of like the way you worked on it, because it's kind of the style is very stylish. It's very kind of graphic and kind of how would I say, like geometric and simplified. All the styles and colors and everything is really brilliant. And then I really love the way, because quite often you get like in sort of like with the young filmmakers, you have something like maybe extra in it, and then the camera is kind of moving or doing whatever. But in your film, it seems like you've designed every shot so kind of perfectly, the way the camera pans, and then all the sort of like graphic elements kind of maybe fade and merge into each other. And I felt like that's just like there's nothing extra or nothing you can't sort of improve, I would say, like visually in the way that sort of the story progresses. So I was really impressed, and I think that's why I selected for the competition. So can you have you done, like, I'm just wondering, like, have you done graphic design before that, or like, yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Great to hear. Um, I don't know. I guess, I mean, yeah, because with this, it was kind of made in response to like the brief of it could be anything I wanted. I mean, I wrote and directed it or came up with the idea, but we only had a short amount of time. So that definitely helped me in limiting everything, because I knew that I wouldn't have time. But I also was just depending on what I'd learned from making my previous film, which was my grad film from IDT. And even that, it's called Tuna. And I just knew from like making that first film that I liked like animation that doesn't, it's not over animated, or even there's no animation in some parts, because the story, like, you don't need animation to tell the story, and animation takes so long. So yeah, I really from the start was trying to get, I knew if I had the design right and the pacing right, we didn't need too much animation, so I guess just going for like the simplicity, and even like designing it references, I was looking more at illustrations, um because a lot of even the way things move, it's very like pose to pose and a lot of holds. So um yeah, that's, I guess, and the shapes of like 1960s illustration fed into that as well.
Mm. Yeah, it is. And then I feel like that there's this kind of love story and kind of relationship in there. And it's interesting that everything, because it has no dialogue, the music
Yeah.
is really nice. And then it's just because the way you've designed it, you can do so much with these kind of really subtle movements, like the pinky, the little finger movements. And I think, yeah. So,
Yeah, almost like finding like I wouldn't say like the easiest solution, but almost like the simplest solution, which is kind of it's harder to make something clear and simple. But trying to use those limits of like how little can we push it to really make each shot look like it's just an illustration, like moving in parts.
mm. Yeah, it's great. So yeah, and I think like also it has a lot of these sort of graphic qualities that you see in like really good like motion graphics that they do like different companies do as like intros and other things like that. So I'm wondering like what is like next for you? Are you going to work in a company, or are you going to do another short film?
Yeah, right now I'm animating for a company, just freelance, I guess. But I've just finished a 6-month residency where I'm making a short film. So that's not finished yet. So I'm still finishing a new film and just kind of freelancing as well.
Mhm. Yeah, so like a couple of things at the same time. But yeah, of course, you got to work because you need the money and those freelance.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the freelance, and then yeah, the other ones. No, it's true. But yeah, wonderful. So yeah, that's what I was thinking. That also, your film looks really professional. So if you're going for an animation company, then it's like really easy. I mean, it's kind of like a good portfolio piece, so you can very easily continue doing this.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And even like there was a lot, all the people involved, like it was the set up by the industry, the kind of it was called Animation Studio Lab, like which Animation SkillNet set up, but it was kind of to help us make connections with the industry as well. So even now I'm still working with people that I met making that film, and recommending them for jobs, or they're recommending me for jobs. So it's good.
Yeah, connections are important, and yeah, and of course, if you have talented friends, and you can just work with them.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Okay, thank you. And I think we're gonna continue with Kata Gugic, and then maybe like a few words at the end, maybe to get, or something like that. So welcome, Kata, and wonderful to see you from the normally very sunny Croatia. Is it sunny over there? How is it going?
It is. It's been sunny for the last hour, but these couple of days were actually very rainy. But it's getting better. At least no cold and snow anymore.
Yeah. I heard from from Kintis, and they were saying that it's really strange weather. It's like it seems like in the south now, it's south of Europe is now colder than in the north of Europe, and Yeah, it's kind of really strange weather. So yeah, tell us about your film Cockpera. I saw it last year, and I think I really loved it. I think it was really, really hilarious and funny. And tell us about the idea and process of making the film.
Thank you. Well, Cockpera is my graduation film that I did at the Academy of Fine Arts in Zagreb. And it is a 4-minute hand-drawn film inspired by the Aesop's fable, The Fighting Cock and the Eagle. And it is made in the form of an erotic opera, pretty much, in short.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. So certainly, yeah, and I really kind of love the idea that it's it's a really wonderful idea, and I think the way you've kind of drawn it is really kind of makes it really erotic and sensual and funny at the same time, and yeah, it's really nice. So because the thing is that I know you worked on some stage design for other directors, yet like you were working on stop motion animation projects. You've done a few of those. So I'm just wondering, like the choice of doing this in 2D, was that kind of natural, or you just thought that this is how it works, or what?
It was something that I definitely wanted to do. I've been working on set designs in films, stop motion films, and theater as well. So although I do love that, but I wanted to explore just 2D animation. It's something that is, I would say, my biggest love, to say it so pathetically. It's something that I enjoy the most, and I will make my next film as well hand drawn. I feel that I can express myself best with this technique.
Yeah, that's what I felt like, because it's really nicely drawn, and it has this like really, because I hadn't seen your drawings before, and I knew you worked on these kind of stage designs and for stop motion projects and building forests and things like that. But yeah, is there something really nice about the way you've kind of sort of anthropomorphized these like animal characters? And I think the way they move and look at each other, and that kind of creates adds so much to the animation and the sort of like the comedy that there's I definitely think that you should continue, and you're so talented in like drawing in this kind of rough way or comic way.
Well, thank you again. The acting that you mentioned with the characters, this was mostly also inspired by, since it was an opera. I took the gestures from that you usually see in operas, as well as, since I was working with birds that had beaks, which was similar to opera as well, where singers have limited facial expressions for acting, so they use a lot of acting with their eyes. I can say these similar limitations with my film. So opera was something that really inspired me, that I referenced throughout the film with acting as well.
Yeah, it's true. And and how about the comedy? Because I also found the film like really funny. So is this something that you sort of enjoy doing, or because I think the previous project you worked on, it was just straight drama. So I was also kind of surprised about the comedy, and it's really, really good. So I think story-wise, is that something you really like working on? Like that your next projects would be similar, perhaps?
I'm not 100% about the next project. Maybe some humor. I feel like that is difficult to avoid for me. But I did consider making a more serious film for my graduation. But then I realized that I don't want to work on something too dark that I had in mind. I figured I would rather do something that would be fun for me to see. And so I went with the comedy. But I enjoy comedy. This is also inspired by a lot of these midnight film type comedy. So you might see some sort of references to this as well.
Yeah, no, but it's because you're really good at it. The way you've sort of, because I think, there was a story, but then the way you've drawn it, and there are all these kind of explicit details and kind of disgusting details in there, and it kind of makes it more sort of a little bit like sexual and perhaps like even perverted. I think that just makes it like so much better, and it's so, yeah, because I mean, you can have comedy, but you can have it like either very subtle or just go the whole way. And I think you've done that. I mean, do you feel like what's the reception you've gotten from other people? Do other people really enjoy it, or in terms of the comedy?
Well, not a lot of people will tell you your film is really bad. So I mean, people will tell you, yeah, it's nice, it's fun. It's difficult to say because of this, especially now that festivals are online this year. So I talked to some friends, and it's the feedback that you get is if someone is reaching out to you in this way online, it's not gonna be to tell you that your film is really bad.
Mm.
But I'm sure there's people who think that. But yeah, I hope people enjoy it more or less.
Mm. No, I don't know, because yeah, of course, yeah, it's more difficult to get the feedback now. But I think because it's been selected for so many, because I really enjoyed it, and I think, well, of course, you don't get the feedback because you don't have sort of live events, and you don't actually get to meet people, and online is much harder and to meet people and get feedback. That's very true. But I think this is exactly really the best kind of animation you can see in the festivals, and I was like so much enjoying like all the press like going through this like hundreds of animations and all this worry about like organizing this festival, at least for me. And then I think a lot of other people who are at least involved in the festivals, is really wonderful to see this. And I think audiences were just something really funny and something that they haven't seen, kind of like surprises them in a way. I think that's really sort of like the best and the most refreshing thing to see at the moment, although it might be online.
I'm glad it made you feel better.
Yeah, if you ask me, more comedy, yeah, just go for it. You can do, because that's the thing. Because I mean, there's I suppose there's, because I'm thinking like if you look at like American short films, like there's a lot of comedy style short films coming from America all the time. I mean, it's always been that the goal is to make it funny. If it's not funny, don't do it. But then it's like they've kind of have always the same style and same kind of comedy that comes out of America. That it's always kind of repeating itself. So it's very rare to see like comedy animation that kind of like surprises you. Or and I think with yours is really that, and I think it really kind of works in that sense, because yeah, it's somehow different maybe.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. No, it's quite refreshing to watch that, because I mean, I think like a lot of the American comedy animations are kind of, yeah, like that, and sort of, yeah. So it's the same, but it got, I guess, it got. Do you know how many festivals selected it in its for the competition?
Oh, I don't actually know. 50-ish.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I stopped keeping track once my distributor took over, so I would have to check, but I would say something around 50-ish.
Yeah, because we also got it from one of us. I saw it last year, like in some online thing, and then before yeah, then I think one.
Although not all of those are competition. You said competition. I'm counting everything. I'm not sure how many of those are in competition. There's somewhere it wasn't. But okay, yeah. I'm sorry, I interrupted
No,
you.
it's okay. It's okay. No, because yeah, I'm just thinking. But yeah, I think there were quite a lot, because I also saw the list somewhere, I think, and it was quite. How about you, Cliona? Was that? Do you know how many like animation festivals or festivals like selected your film?
I'm not sure yet, because also I just recently got a like festival strategy company on board, so it's kind of still going longer, I guess, than the grad film. Like, when did you finish making your film?
Kata, yeah. When did you?
I finished last January, February, so more than a year ago, and it was supposed to premiere last June on Anima Fest. Then Anima Fest was postponed, so it premiered on Supertoon in Croatia in July.
Okay. Yeah, because I would have finished mine in April, and then it premiered in July, I guess. And then I put it online as well pretty quick, which is different from my grad film. I waited. So I don't know if that's making a difference to the festivals or let's see.
Yeah, it's kind of right now, and it's kind of because everything is online. It's a little bit difficult to check, but I have to say about your film is really good because we do get a lot of films from like Britain and Ireland also into the competition, but not that often. Like it doesn't stand out. I think your film was sort of that I've already watched more than, let's say, 500 for our competition. We had about like 600 or 700 entries for this year's festival. And it was getting at this point that I was just so tired because in here, I was just like, in here has also been really isolated. You can't meet people, like the theater's been closed for 7 months. You can't even see people, and everybody was kind of afraid in the winter that what was going to happen. And it felt like that I can't watch another animation anymore. I was seeing 500, and it's always like, 70% or more than half of them aren't that good, and you're sort of like, what was this person thinking? And then I saw, like, I think it was your film, and then there was another one from Sweden, and then 2 or 3 in this kind of last 50 that I watched, and I was like, yeah, of course, no, there's some good left. I'm glad. I'd seen like so many bad ones, but it stands out, and because it has something like really kind of refreshing and nice about it, and this whole this kind of story with the laundromat and and then the visual style of it and all this kind of stuff, it stood out quite well. Because I've seen other films from your school as well, and I don't think this is the first one probably I've selected from there. It's we had many like last year as well, and it wasn't. There's always something that I've seen this already, and could have been better this way and that way. But this was like really kind of nice and perfectly well done. But yeah, this sounds wonderful and brilliant. And yeah, sorry that we always have to be online. And then and in Finland, it's like you never know when the theater is going to open. We were hoping that they will be open now, but already our producer like 3-4 months ago said they're not going to be. Let's just do this online. We don't care. And that's the only way to get through. And it's still, I think there's still festivals they've announced for next month, because they were saying for a long time in June, people will have normal festivals and theaters will be open. But today they announced that no, June will be also limited to 10 persons gathering in Finland, although the situation is good. So we never know when we're going to get out of this, but hopefully by the fall, and when the vaccination percentage is high enough. And but I have to say thank you so much for your films. It was really a refreshing experience seeing them and talking to you. And and if you have any last words or anything you want to say about your films, please say so.
Thank you for having us, for selecting us.
Yes, same. It was good seeing you and good meeting you, Cliona. Sorry, I mispronounced.
Cliona.
Cliona, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're okay. And you're Kata?
Kata, yes.
Okay.
I will check out your film. Although I feel like I've seen it. The name is very familiar. So maybe I have seen it, but I will definitely.
Because when I read the title, I can picture your film in my head because I know what it looks like. I've seen the pictures in like festivals, but I haven't had a chance to actually watch it because it's not online. No. Still doing festivals.
Yeah, but you have the festival. You can see it on our website. So please watch it. Because
I will.
The thing is that because I was thinking, because also online I watched last year. I watched Animatricks, and it was in Animatricks, but we couldn't see it because of this geo blocking. That's the problem. Yeah, and then because that's the thing, it might be in the festival, but it might be like geo-blocked. So that's always the problem with these online festivals. And I have to say about our program, because I kind of wanted to make them more interesting for general audiences who don't want to watch just hundreds of animations in a festival. So I themed them. So there was basically, there's a humor and there's a horror, and then there is like women, and then there's relationships and those ones. And then because of this geo-blocking, we had to change them all. Like there's still, the titles exist, but then each one of them, they have a few which actually don't belong to that theme, which
I think
is,
mine could be vlog.
yeah.
Then
And
you can contact me and I will send you.
Yeah, if you send me a link, please.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it.
yeah, that's
It
also,
just crossed my mind.
yeah, but that's the thing with the online thing, that it feels good that, we
Yeah.
can watch it everywhere. And then it was this geo-blocking. And I was like, oh no, what is this? What are you doing this? And it was so many, it was so complicated. And some of them, they would like name the countries, because generally it's like that, okay, that only for your country or all, right? But then we started getting mails about saying, this is allowed in these 4 countries, that is allowed. And I was like, what did these do? Did some distributors do that? And I was just like, okay, I don't want to hear about this. And I'm glad we had like somebody else take care of that. But it kind of changed the structure a bit, which is, so that's the thing, that we can do these kind of online interviews better. So this is kind of easier for us. But otherwise, there are always these kind of other challenges. So hopefully you can, like, I don't know, enjoy our festival and and then enjoy Kata's film, which is, how would you abbreviate it? Is it like, what is it, cocky cock getting more cocky or something like that?
Well, that is what happens.
Yeah.
The coffee cock getting cockier, I suppose.
Until the end, and we won't spoil the end ending. But
Don't spoil.
worth seeing is the animation is so brilliant, and I really like the expressions and the chemistry between the characters. It's really nice, and it's so enjoyable to watch that. Yeah. But as you can see, we're in Aurora Borealis here. It's all dark, and we're just watching the northern lights in Finland. So please come to Finland whenever you can, and whenever this pandemic is over. And
Yes.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah. And Cliona, you should definitely visit Zagreb or Croatia if you haven't been. It's an amazing country.
Yeah, no, because my school, they did a trip to Zagreb like 2 years ago, but I couldn't go. I was on Erasmus. But yeah, they loved it. They went to Zagreb for a few days for the festival.
Yeah, I met them. I know Liam from there.
Oh, Liam, yeah. Liam knows, everyone knows Liam.
Yeah, Liam's wonderful. Yeah, I remember there was Liam and a teacher and about 10 other students. I spoke to about 3 of them. I actually don't remember the 2 others because I didn't find them in Facebook later. But Liam was the one. Yeah, he was the most most wonderful guy. And I think everybody knows him. It's just. He's brilliant. But I mean, and in Zagreb also the animation scene is getting more and more vibrant, and it's like that's what we were talking about. We've had already 1 masterclass and 2 interviews from Zagreb, because we got so many good films from Zagreb. Different filmmakers and couples who are from different countries, and they just moved to Zagreb to do their films, and it's really good. So you should definitely go if you get a chance.
Yes, come visit.
Yeah, come visit.
And you can come to Ireland as well.
All right.
It might be raining, but
go for the seminars. The seminar in Dublin is really brilliant. I was there in this animation seminar. That was a few years ago. It was like 6 years ago or something, and it was just so good. These professors, they're just telling you all this kind of wonderful stuff about animation that you haven't thought of. I was like, ooh, wow! I never had a 2-day seminar that you would learn so much. You learn like a semester in like 2 days there.
Yeah.
Okay. So have a wonderful spring and summer, and I hope to see you very soon. And I wish you luck with your future projects, and hopefully you win with these films some awards. So thank you, and goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good seeing you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.